The spaceport was louder than usual. Ships were landing every minute, engines roaring, lights flashing, and crowds pushing from one gate to another. Evan Carter, a human technician traveling for a repair job, stood near Dock Line 7 with his small tool bag resting beside his feet. He took a deep breath. He had been in many alien stations before, but this one felt different. Chaotic, stressed, tense. Something unseen hung in the air. He checked the digital board again. The transport ship to Aurus Prime was delayed for the third time. Great, he muttered. He was already tired and wanted nothing more than to get to his cabin and sleep. But then, something strange happened. From the corner of his eye, he saw movement. Two figures stepping out from behind a column. A tall, slim alien girl with glowing blue stripes along her arms and neck, and a small boy holding her hand, trembling. Their eyes were wide, scanning the area as if expecting danger from every direction. The girl slowly approached Evan. Her steps were careful, almost fearful. "Human," she whispered when she reached him. Her voice was soft, almost too soft for the noise around them. "Please, we need your help." Evan blinked. He had seen aliens of their kind before, Vaori species, known for their delicate features and tribal honor culture. But he had never seen ones looking so frightened. "Are you lost?" he asked gently. She shook her head quickly. "No, we know where we need to go. We just cannot get there." The little boy behind her leg, peeking at Evan with scared, glowing eyes. Evan knelt slightly so he wouldn't look threatening. "What do you need?" The girl tried to speak, but stopped. She looked around again, right, left, behind. Her breathing grew faster. Then she leaned closer. "We don't have money for the tickets. Human," she said, voice cracking. "But we will compensate you." Evan frowned. The way she said compensate didn't sound normal. It sounded heavy, important, dangerous. "You want me to buy your tickets?" he asked. The girl nodded, but her expression was full of fear, not embarrassment. She wasn't like a traveler short on money. She was like someone running from something deadly. Before Evan could ask more, the boy tugged at the girl's clothes, whispering urgently in their native language. The girl placed her hand on his head to calm him, then looked back at Evan. "We can't stay here long. They are looking for us." That sentence sent a chill down his spine. "Who is looking for you?" Evan asked. The girl hesitated. Her throat moved as she swallowed. "Our own people," she whispered. Evan was confused. "Why would your people be chasing you?" She avoided his eyes. "It doesn't matter. If they find us, you will be in danger too." Evan stood straight again. Many travelers around him were walking, talking, checking their holo screens. It all looked normal. But the girl's fear made everything suddenly feel sharp and suspicious. He tried to be rational. "Look, I don't want trouble. And I don't even know what situation you're in." At that exact moment, a loud metallic clang echoed across the hall, a sound like armored boots hitting the floor. Evan turned toward the entrance. 6 heavily armored Vaori guards entered the station. They wore dark silver suits with sharp edges and glowing red visors. Their weapons hung from their belts like they were ready to be drawn at any second. They moved with a cold, fast coordination. The girl gasped softly. The boy's knees shook. Evan finally understood. "You're hiding from them," he whispered. The girl nodded once. "Please, human, help us before they find us." Evan looked from the children to the guards. The guards spread out fast, scanning every traveler. Their armor had tracking sensors, and their movements felt too precise, almost like hunters searching for prey. "Why are they after you?" Evan asked again, more serious this time. The girl's lips trembled. "My brother, he is special. Our clan wants to take him away. They say it is for the future of our species, but they do not care about his life, only his blood." Evan felt anger rise inside him. He had seen similar things during border conflicts, children forced into programs they never chose. "And you?" he asked quietly. "Why are they after you?" "I refuse to give him to them," she said. "So they want me punished." Evan felt something twist in his chest. 2 young siblings running from their own people, hunted like criminals. "And this compensation?" he asked. "What does that mean?" The girl looked directly into his eyes for the first time. Her glowing blue stripes flickered with emotion. "If you help us escape, our clan will owe you a life debt. A debt that can never be broken. You will be protected, honored, and given anything you desire." Evan swallowed. A Vayari clan's life debt was no small thing. It was legendary, something that could change a human's entire life. But more importantly, he looked at the children again. They weren't lying. They were desperate. The guards were getting closer. One scanned a passenger's face, then moved on. Another was questioning a family. "We're running out of time," the girl whispered urgently. "We need to reach the transport before they scan us." Evan made his decision. "Follow me," he said. The girl's eyes widened in relief. The boy grabbed Evan's sleeve tightly as if afraid he would vanish. Evan grabbed his bag and moved quickly toward a maintenance corridor entrance, an old service route that only workers and technicians used. The station was huge. These tunnels ran behind every wall, beneath every platform. And the guards likely didn't know this section well. They slipped inside just as a guard turned in their direction. Evan closed the panel hatch behind them. The corridor was dark, lit only by emergency strips. The boy clung to his sister. She walked close to Evan, trying not to make noise. After a minute of running, Evan whispered, "Where exactly do you need to go?" "The interstellar transport at Dock 14, she said. "It leaves in 30 minutes. If we miss it, they will catch us." Evan nodded. "Then stay close. These tunnels are like a maze, but I know them." As they moved deeper inside, the distant sound of guards echoed through the metal pipes. They were searching everywhere. The boy suddenly asked in a small, shaking voice, "Human, will they hurt you because of us?" Evan looked down at him. "I'll be fine. Just stay with me." The girl whispered, "We did not want to involve you, but you were the only human who looked kind." Evan almost smiled, but their fear was too real. Lights flickered overhead. A sudden alarm began blaring through the station. The guards had probably discovered the maintenance hatch they used. "We need to move faster," Evan said. The girl lifted her brother and ran. Evan kept beside them, guiding them through narrow paths, past old pipes, broken panels, and humming generators. When they finally reached the end of the tunnel, Evan opened a small door leading to the cargo bay. But as soon as they stepped out, they heard heavy steps behind them, guards entering the tunnels. The girl grabbed Evan's arm tightly. "Please, don't leave us." Evan looked at her, then at the terrified boy. His heart hardened with resolve. "I'm not leaving," he said. "We're getting through this together." And with that, he led them into the cargo shadows, one step closer to Dock 14, and one step deeper into a danger he never expected. The cargo bay was colder than the rest of the station. Huge metal crates were stacked like silent towers, and thick steam clouds rose from the cooling vents. Evan stepped out first, checking both sides carefully. The girl held her younger brother close, her eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. "They are close," she whispered. Evan nodded. He could hear the faint echoes of armored boots behind them in the maintenance tunnel. The guards were searching, and they were getting faster. "Stay behind me," he said, gripping his tool bag. It wasn't a weapon, but it was all he had. They moved between crates, trying to stay in the shadows. The boy clung to his sister's arm, breathing shakily. His small chest rose and fell too fast, and a strange pattern of faint lights flickered under his skin. "Is he okay?" Evan whispered. The girl hesitated. His body reacts to stress. The more afraid he becomes, the weaker his heart gets. Evan stopped for a moment. "So we need to get him out of here as soon as possible." "Yes," she said. "If he collapses, he may not wake again." Evan looked down at the boy, fragile, scared, but trying so hard to stay quiet. The thought of him collapsing in this dark, cold place made something burn inside Evan's chest. He had helped many people in his life, but this felt different. This felt like a duty. They turned toward the exit door at the far end of the cargo bay. Before they reached it, a metallic hiss echoed across the room. Evan froze. A scanning drone hovered above the crates, its red sensor line sweeping across the bay like a slow, deadly spotlight. The sister pulled the boy close, her breath shaking. "They brought scanners," she whispered, terrified. The drone scanned left, right, then turned slowly towards their direction. Evan's heart pounded. If the red line touched them, the guards would know their exact position. "Down!" he whispered urgently. They crouched behind a crate. The red line swept dangerously close, glowing across the floor. The boy's glowing skin flickered in panic. Evan placed his hand gently over the boy's arm, trying to hide the bright patterns. "Shush, it's okay," Evan whispered, voice calm even though his heart raced. The scanner paused, hummed, then moved away. The girl exhaled in relief. "You saved us again." Evan shook his head. "We're not safe yet. Let's go." They slipped out of the cargo bay and into a narrow service passage leading toward Dock 14. The station alarm still blared overhead. Lights flashed red. A robotic voice kept repeating, "Security alert. Unauthorized individuals detected. All units report." The girl kept glancing behind them. "They know we use the maintenance tunnels." "I figured," Evan said. "We need to move fast." They ran through the corridor. The walls vibrated with heavy footsteps from the soldiers. Every sound felt like a threat. After several minutes of running, the boy stumbled. Evan caught him before he fell. "Hey, easy," Evan said softly. "Are you hurt?" The boy's eyes were half closed. "My chest hurts." "Human." The glowing lines on his skin pulsed irregularly. The girl's voice cracked. "He cannot handle this stress. He is rare because his body carries a mutation, one that makes him important to clan but weak." "We need to stop," Evan said. "No," the girl said, tears forming. "If we stop now, they will reach us, and they will take him back to a breeding laboratory. He will die there, human, slowly." Evan clenched his jaw. "Then I'll carry him." The girl blinked, shocked. "You would do that for us?" Evan didn't answer. He simply lifted the boy into his arms. The boy was light, almost too light, like he hadn't eaten properly for days. "Hold on to me," Evan whispered. The boy nodded weakly and buried his face against Evan's shoulder. They continued marching through the silent hallway. The girl walked beside him, her eyes full of gratitude and fear. "You should know," she said quietly. "Vayari do not give life debts to outsiders easily. Only when someone risks everything for our family. When this is over, our clan will honor you." "I'm not doing this for a reward," Evan said as he walked. "I'm doing it because he needs help." She stared at him for a long moment. "That is why humans are dangerous. You act without thinking of gain." Her voice shook. "And that is why I trust you." Suddenly, the corridor lights flickered. Footsteps thundered from ahead. Evan stopped. A squad of 4 armored Vayari guards blocked the path to Dock 14. The girl gasped. "They found us." Evan turned around, more footsteps in the distance behind them. "We're trapped," she whispered. Evan looked around quickly. There was a small maintenance door to the left. "There!" He ran to it, still carrying the boy. The girl followed. Evan pulled the panel open and they squeezed inside. The door clicked shut behind them. The small chamber smelled like metal and burnt wires. Pipes lined every wall. A large energy converter hummed loudly in the center. "We can't stay long," Evan whispered. "They will check this room." He gently set the boy down, letting him rest against his sister. The boy's breathing was shallow. Sweat formed on his forehead. "Human," he whispered weakly. "I'm scared." Evan knelt in front of him. "I know, but I'm right here." The girl stroked her brother's hair. "You are brave. You will survive. You must." Evan opened his tool bag. His condition. Does stress really hurt him physically? "Yes," she said. "His heart was modified by our clan genetics. Too much pressure, and it stops responding." Evan took out a small thermal patch from his kit, something he used for minor injuries. This should help calm his muscles and steady his temperature. He placed it on the boy's chest. The boy sighed softly as the warmth spread. "You humans," the girl said quietly, watching. "You fix everything, even lives." Evan smiled slightly. "Sometimes." Suddenly, a loud metallic thud hit the door. "They're here," Evan whispered. The girl's eyes widened. "What do we do?" Evan scanned the room quickly. Pipes, control panels, an old vent system. "The vent," he said. "We can crawl through it." It leads to the top of Dock 14. He grabbed the vent cover and pulled. Rusty screws snapped off. He widened the opening. You go first, he told the girl. She climbed inside, then reached out to help her brother. Evan gently lifted the boy into her arms. Human, the boy whispered. Will you come too? Evan smiled softly. Of course, I won't leave you. The door behind them shook violently, being forced open. Evan pushed himself into the vent and sealed the cover behind him just as the guards burst into the room. The narrow tunnel echoed with their breathing. The girl moved slowly, careful not to jostle her brother. Evan crawled behind them, pushing his tool bag forward. After minutes of cooling, light appeared ahead, the end of the vent. Evan pushed the cover open and slid out first. They were above Dock 14, on a maintenance balcony. Below them, the transport ship was preparing for departure. Steam filled the bay. The platform was crowded with travelers. We made it, the girl breathed. But just then, a sharp alarm exploded overhead. A robotic voice announced, "Unauthorized Vayari subjects detected on upper maintenance balcony. Deploying units." The girl froze. Evan looked down at the boy. His eyes were half closed again, his breathing shallow. "We need to get down there," Evan said. "Now." Evan slid down the cable, gripping hard with one hand and holding the boy with the other. Sparks burst above his head as energy shots struck the metal railing. The girl had already reached the platform below and was waving frantically. "Hurry!" she cried. Evan pushed his feet against the air, sliding faster. The boy trembled against him, weak breaths brushing Evan's shoulder. The child's skin glowed in fading pulses, the pattern stuttering like a failing heartbeat. "Stay with me," Evan whispered. "Just a little longer." His boots hit the platform at last. He stumbled forward, but the girl caught the boy before he slipped. "Dock gates are that way," she said. Together, they ran toward the main boarding ramp. The transport ship's engines thundered as they warmed up. Blue thrusters glowed beneath the hull, sending vibrations through the deck. A station announcement blared. "Transport to Aurors Prime. Final call. Boarding will close in 30 seconds. Evan's heart hammered. 30 seconds. Just 30 seconds to outrun a squad of trained guards. Behind them, the balcony shook as armored boots hit the platform. The guards had climbed down using magnetic clamps. 6 of them, all armed, all furious. "There!" one of them shouted. Energy blasts lit up the floor behind Evan, sending sparks flying. The girl tightened her grip on her brother and dashed forward with a speed born from pure fear. Evan ran beside her, pushing his lungs harder than he ever had before. Travelers screamed and moved aside, clearing a path. Some ducked behind benches, others hid behind luggage containers. The guards didn't care, they just charged forward, weapons raised. "Keep running!" Evan yelled. The sister ran, but her steps stumbled. She was exhausted. The boy's body was too heavy for her to carry for long, especially with his weakening condition. Without wasting a moment, Evan scooped the boy back into his arms. "You run ahead!" he shouted at the girl. She hesitated, but then nodded and sprinted. Evan followed, but his body was slower now. Carrying the boy made every step heavier, every breath sharp. The boarding ramp was just ahead. 20 steps, 15, 10. But then, a loud metallic gate slammed down in front of them. The access tunnel to the boarding bridge closed. The girl screamed, "No, we can't miss this ship." Evan reached her side, panting hard. The guards closing behind them, only a few meters away now. The sister pressed a hand on the sealed gate, her voice shaking. It was supposed to stay open until departure. Evan checked the nearby control panel, but it was locked with Vayari military encryption. Humans couldn't access it. Their last chance had vanished. The boy stirred weakly in Evan's arms. His eyes fluttered. "Sister, human, I'm sorry." "No," the girl whispered, tears falling. "You will not die here. I will not let them take you." Evan looked back. The guards were raising their weapons. They had seconds left. Suddenly, Evan noticed something, the maintenance lift beside the gate. A small loading elevator used by staff to move cargo onto the ship before launch. "If we can get into that lift," Evan said, pointing, "it connects directly to the cargo bay of the transport." The girl's eyes widened with hope. The guard shouted again, firing another round of shots. Go! Evan screamed. The sister ran. Evan followed with the boy. They reached the loading lift, and Evan slammed his hand onto the activation button. The lift doors slid open. They rushed inside, and the doors began to close. But just before they sealed shut, a guard jammed his armored arm through the gap. The girl screamed. Evan dropped his tool bag, grabbed the metal bar above the door, and kicked the guard's arm with all his strength. The armor dented slightly, but the guard didn't pull back. Evan kicked again, and again. With a loud clang, the guard's grip broke. The arm snapped back, and the doors slammed shut. The lift shot downward toward the cargo level. The girl collapsed to her knees, shaking. The boy lay limp in Evan's arms, breathing shallowly. Thank you, human, the boy whispered with barely any strength left. The sister wiped her tears. He is fading. His heart cannot take more. Evan knelt beside her. We'll get him onto the ship, the med unit that will stabilize him. The lift reached the cargo bay. The doors opened into a dimly lit storage area filled with containers and service bots. No guards. No people. The perfect chance. The girl led the way through a narrow aisle of metal crates. Evan followed, careful not to jostle the boy. At the far end, they found the interior hatch leading to the passenger section. Locked. The girl gasped. No, please no. Evan stepped forward. Let me try. He examined the panel. Small, old model, half-rusted. A human device. He smiled faintly. This I can handle. He opened his tool bag and pulled out a wire cutter, then a conductive strip, then a tiny bypass chip. His hands moved instinctively. Humans were good at improvising, even with limited tools. Aliens often relied on advanced tech. Humans? They just made do. Sparks jumped as he rerouted the wires. The panel beeped, then flickered. The girl watched, breathless. Hurry, Evan, she whispered. The boy's breathing became weaker. And then, click, the hatch unlocked. The girl covered her mouth in shock. Human, you did it. Evan pushed the door open. Get him inside. He gently handed the boy to her. They stepped through the hatch and into the warm corridor of the transport. Behind them, a deafening alarm exploded. Unauthorized entry detected. Security units inbound. Evan looked back at the cargo bay door. The guards had tracked them again. They were forcing their way in. We need to move, he shouted. The girl nodded, tears in her eyes, and ran down the corridor toward the medical bay. Evan sprinted after her. Just as they reached the med unit, she placed the boy inside an automated chamber. The machine scanned him and injected stabilizers. But the boy's eyes remained half-closed. Please, breathe, the girl begged. Evan placed a hand on her shoulder. He'll be okay. But he wasn't sure. The machine beeped uncertainly. The boy's heart rhythm was unstable. Before they could react, heavy footsteps thundered at the far end of the corridor. They're inside the ship. Evan shouted. The sister stepped in front of her brother, ready to shield him with her own body. The guards marched forward, weapons raised. You humans interfere in matters that do not concern you, the leader growled. Step aside. The child belongs to us. No, the girl whispered, trembling but firm. He belongs to our family. Evan stepped beside her, and is under my protection. The guards aimed their weapons. But suddenly, a brilliant blue light burst from the pendant around the girl's neck. It shot upward, forming a massive hologram seal in the air, a symbol of a high Vayari clan. Majestic, ancient, fearsome. The guard froze instantly. The girl raised her chin, voice strong and clear. By the authority of the Vayari High Clan, I invoke a life debt. She placed her hand over Evan's chest. This human risked his life for us. The clan now owes him protection, honor, and reward. The leader's visor dimmed in shock. The High Clan? Impossible. You are only. But then he saw the pendant up close. His stance changed immediately. He kneeled. We did not know. Another guard whispered, trembling. We cannot harm them now. The High Clan will destroy anyone who dishes us a life debt. The girl turned to Evan.